Chapter 1. Xinxian's Sect. The sound of the bells tolled continuously, resembling the rumbling of thunder. This noise abruptly awakened Shen Mo. He found himself in a Spartan room. A sharp pain pierced his chest. Wiping the corner of his mouth, he found dried blood. Where am I? Before Shen Mo could ponder further, a flood of unfamiliar memories surged into his mind. After a brief headache, he quickly realized, I've actually transmigrated into another world. This body also bore the name Shen Mo, hailing from Qinshan City, and at the age of 12 he was initiated into the Xinxian sect. Originally, his predecessor was a youth with exceptional talent, reaching the peak of the body-tempering realm by the age of 16 and stepping into the Qi condensation realm just a year later. His predecessor's status in the Xinxian sect had risen to be the top outer disciple, highly praised and the center of attention. According to the sect's rules, the top 3 outer disciples who stepped into the Qi condensation realm could challenge inner disciples. Winning the challenge would grant them the status of inner disciples. However, 3 days before his predecessor was to challenge the inner disciples, his cultivation inexplicably regressed, deteriorating back to the beginner level of the body-tempering realm over the span of 3 days. This event even alarmed an elder who personally examined him and concluded that Shen Mo was afflicted with blood scatter poison, rendering his 4 years of body tempering and 1 year of Qi condensation useless. The blood scatter poison also irreversibly damaged his spiritual roots. Without an exceptionally powerful elixir, he could only hope to return to the peak of the body-tempering realm at most, never again reaching the Qi condensation realm. The elder ordered a thorough investigation, but no culprit was found. A year passed, and the matter was shelved. No one would waste time on someone deemed useless. The stark contrast in circumstances left his predecessor increasingly despondent, never recovering from the setback. What's worse, the outer disciples faced a last-place elimination system. The body-tempering realm was divided into entry-level, minor achievement, major achievement, perfect, and peak. An outer disciple at the entry level of the body-tempering realm who couldn't advance to the minor achievement level within a year was deemed to lack cultivation aptitude, would be stripped of their disciple status and sent down the mountain. His predecessor had been deeply worried about this. Just yesterday he died suddenly from a surge of blood to the heart. It was at this moment that Shen Mo's soul transmigrated into this body. This is just too tragic. Shen Mo couldn't help but smile wryly. Now, with only 2 months left until the annual outer disciple assessment, it's difficult for me to advance to the minor achievement of the body-tempering realm. In the end, I will still be expelled from the mountain. Where's the golden finger when you need it? Old grandpa, help out here, will you? He called out in his mind but received no response from the old grandpa. Instead, he saw a panel, name, Shen Mo, realm, entry level of body-tempering realm, fate, son of a pharmacist, innate wisdom, sword Dao enthusiast, ordinary luck, destiny. 2 months from now, failing the outer disciple assessment, expelled from the mountain. On his way home, pursued by a rogue cultivator, falls off a cliff and dies with no remains. Recent opportunity, none. Shen Mo sighed as he read through it. This fate is really too harsh. He took a closer look at the panel. Son of a pharmacist, white fate, born into a family of pharmacists in Qinshan City, going back 3 generations, all dedicated to healing others. You've inherited a nature of helping others and enduring hardship. Innate wisdom, blue fate, you have good comprehension, which accelerates your understanding of cultivation techniques and martial arts, often gaining new insights into various matters. Sword Dao enthusiast, blue fate, you have a passion for swords, exhibiting better talent and ease in forging powerful swords. Ordinary luck, white fate, your luck is very ordinary. The kind of luck involved in finding money while walking down the street is almost non-existent for you. Shen Mo contemplated. It seems that fate is something intrinsic to a person. Influencing their destiny, fates are categorized from low to high as white, green, blue, purple, orange, red, and gold. It seems this is my golden finger, being able to see my own fate, destiny, and opportunities. Wait, can I see others? Just as this thought entered Shen Mo's mind, he heard several footsteps approaching. Bang! A fierce young man with a brutish face kicked open the door and entered the room. 4 skinny, fearful young men followed him. The fierce young man saw Shen Mo sitting up on the bed and sneered coldly, "Awake? Good timing. I have a task for you." Memories related to this man surfaced in Shen Mo's mind. This person was named Lei Yong, Also an outer disciple, he, like his predecessor, came from Qingshan City and joined the Qingxian sect at the same time previously. When his predecessor was the top outer disciple, Lei Yong was earnest and seemed like his most loyal subordinate, but as soon as his predecessor fell from his position and it was clear no one would stand up for him, Lei Yong immediately revealed his true nature, the spirit. Stones accumulated by his predecessor were secretly stolen by Lei Yong and his men over several instances. Relying on his cousin being an inner disciple, Lei Yong also began to steal the 100-grass elixir distributed monthly to the outer disciples for cultivation. Each person received 2 bottles. Lei Yong was clever, only targeting weaker outer disciples, and even actively offering the elixir to those who were strong or had potential. Additionally, Lei Yong had rallied several outer disciples to strengthen his own influence. Combining multiple factors, Lei Yong had become the dominant force among the outer disciples, and no one dared to provoke him. Shun Mo's predecessor was once the top outer disciple, but now with his strength severely diminished, bullying such a fallen genius only added to Lei Yong's pleasure. Seeing that Shin Mo had not yet responded, Lei Yong intensified his tone, his eyes flashing fiercely. "Can't you hear me speaking?" Shin Mo took a deep breath and immediately replied, "I heard you." Satisfied with Shun Mo's prompt submission, Lei Yong nodded, "Listen carefully." Then, turning to the young men behind him, he continued, "You all listen too. Today, each of you must chop for spirit woods. And if anyone cuts less than half, I'll make sure you can't leave your bed for half a year." "Yes." The group managed to squeeze out a response from their throats. Shin Mo frowned deeply. Lei Yong often engaged in such activities, accepting the more challenging tasks from the mission hall and forcing weaker outer disciples to do them for him. He would hand off the hard labor to others while monopolizing all the rewards for himself. Shin Mo wanted to refuse, but daring to speak such words would result in Lei Yong beating him severely on the spot. Reluctantly, Shin Mo had no choice but to stand and follow the team. However, he kept his eyes on Lei Yong's back, pondering a solution. It was then that he suddenly noticed Lei Yong's information panel name. Lei Yong Realm. Major achievement of body tempering realm. Fate. Family scion, master of weapons, somewhat lucky destiny. Will ultimately reach the peak of the Qi condensation realm, serve as a deacon of the Qingxian sect, and die 10 years later in a factional conflict within the sect. Recent opportunity. Accepted the task of chopping spirit wood, and during a casual stroll, accidentally discovered a small cloth bag in a tree hollow containing a marrow-cleansing pill. Shin Mo carefully reviewed the details of the 3 new fates that emerged. Family scion. Green fate, born into the Lei family of Qingshan City. You were immersed in medicinal baths from a young age, never having to lift a finger for anything, never lacking in wealth. Master of weapons. Green fate. You have always been fond of weapons, showing a greater talent in swordsmanship and spearmanship, somewhat lucky. Blue fate. Your luck is better than average. You often find money on the road and sometimes avoid disasters. Shin Mo was astonished. Such a malevolent person as Lei Yong had such good fortune. Treasures in the world are categorized into yellow, profound, earth, and heavenly grades, each divided further into lower, middle, upper, and supreme levels. The marrow cleansing pill is a supreme grade profound elixir. Consuming 1 pill could cleanse and reshape the marrow and roots. It was the perfect choice to repair his foundation. The Qingxian sect did not sell such miraculous medicines as the marrow cleansing pill, and it was a mystery why the pill was in the tree hollow, but Shin Mo knew that if he could obtain this marrow cleansing pill, he could restart his cultivation, and perhaps even leverage the pill's power to directly advance to the minor achievement of the body tempering realm. That way, he could at least pass the outer disciple assessment in 2 months. Before long, everyone arrived at the forest behind the Qingxian sect. Many robust trees grew here. These trees were spiritwood cultivated by the Qingxian sect, excellent choices whether for construction materials or for refining into elixirs. However, spiritwood was much harder than ordinary wood, making chopping extremely laborious. For a disciple like Shin Mo at the entry level of the body tempering realm, swinging an axe all day would leave his arms sore, yet he could only manage to chop down 3 or 4 logs. It was hardly worth the effort. Thus, the task of chopping spirit wood was generally chosen by disciples at the minor and major achievements of the body-tempering realm because they were much stronger, their chopping efficiency was also higher. Get to work quickly. Don't let me catch you slacking off. Lei Yong took 5 axes and threw them on the ground, grunting coldly, including Shen Mo. The 5 outer disciples each picked up an axe and began chopping trees. As Shen Mo chopped, his gaze moved around the forest, searching for that tree hollow. He soon spotted a hidden tree hollow, likely made by humans. However, Shen Mo did not immediately reach in to grab it. Lei Yong was still watching them fiercely. Taking it now would easily be seen by Lei Yong. He needed to wait for the right moment. Chopping spirit wood was a tedious task. Soon, it was midday. Shen Mo and the others were drenched in sweat. Lei Yong grunted coldly, "I'm giving you half an hour to eat and drink. Make good use of it." This was not out of kindness. After working all morning, if they didn't rest a bit, they would surely pass out. That would mean the task he took on would be incomplete. Therefore, he gave Shen Mo and the others half an hour to rest. The 5 hurriedly took out their dry food and, using their water skins, ate quickly before closing their eyes to rest. This brief time was precious, and they treasured every second. Lei Yong, too lazy to watch any longer, found a clean patch of grass to lie down on. Taking out the food he had prepared earlier and began to eat heartily. Seizing this opportunity, Shen Mo, under the pretext of needing to relieve himself, quickly moved away from them and approached the tree hollow. He cautiously used a small stick to probe inside, confirming there were no poisonous snakes, then quickly reached in and pulled out a small cloth bag. Opening it, he found a white precious box inside. Within the box was a thumb-sized emerald pill. Indeed, the marrow cleansing pill. Shen Mo immediately tucked it into his chest, then found a spot to eat and drink, closed his eyes to rest, pretending as if nothing had happened. Soon, the half-hour had passed. Lei Yong barked sharply, kicking a man who still wanted to sleep. "Get back to work." The man, too angry to speak, could only drag his tired body and continue swinging the axe. Time continued to pass. To avoid a beating, Shen Mo also had to chop trees diligently during this time. He noticed Lei Yong casually strolling over to the tree hollow. Just then, a squirrel burrowed into the hollow, which Lei Yong noticed. He reached in, pulled out the unfortunate squirrel, and then, in front of everyone, cruelly crushed it to death. "Humph. I thought there was something good in this tree. Hollow, but it turned out to be just a squirrel." Lei Yong grunted coldly. Hands behind his back, continuing to supervise. As dusk fell, Shen Mo and the other 4 had completed their task, each having chopped down for spirit wood logs. "All right, get out of here." Lei Yong nodded in satisfaction. As for the spirit wood, someone from the mission hall would come to inspect them later. The people hurried away as if fleeing from the plague. Shen Mo also quickly returned to the outer disciples' quarters, back to his own dwelling. Chapter 2. Shen Mo, upon waking up, immediately felt a surge of energy and clarity he hadn't experienced in a long time. Opening the wooden box, the marrow cleansing pill inside exuded a refreshing herbal scent, bringing a tired smile to his face without hesitation. He swallowed the pill once ingested. The marrow cleansing pill quickly dissolved, unleashing a powerful medicinal force that spread through his limbs, flesh, and bones. Shen Mo's skin turned red and warm, and steam seemed to rise from his head deep within his bones. There was an itching sensation as if ants were crawling inside, signaling rapid growth and healing, as though broken parts were fusing back together flawlessly. Then, intense pain struck. Shen Mo found it increasingly difficult to bear, struggling to maintain consciousness before eventually passing out from the overwhelming discomfort. An hour later, he slowly awoke, feeling refreshed and invigorated as if reborn. To his surprise, all the aches and fatigue had vanished under the potent effects of the marrow cleansing pill. The strength coursing through his arms and legs had significantly increased, a clear indicator of his enhanced condition. The marrow cleansing pill not only repaired my foundations but also boosted me into the minor achievement stage of the body-tempering realm. Shen Mo was elated. This meant he no longer had to worry about the upcoming outer disciple assessment in 3 months. He quickly introspected and noticed changes in his panel. Name: Shen Mo. Realm: minor achievement of body-tempering realm. Fate: son of a pharmacist, innate wisdom, sword Dao enthusiast. Destiny: poisoned the day before the outer disciple assessment. 2 months later, foundations destroyed, failed the assessment, expelled from the mountain, chased by rogue cultivators on the way home. Too weak to defend. Dies from excessive blood loss. Recent opportunity. Obtained. Found a small cloth bag containing a marrow cleansing pill while chopping spirit wood. Shinemo. Frustrated. Muttered. Damn it. Why am I still getting poisoned? And why are these rogues after me? He quickly surmised that his sudden recovery might have alerted whoever was behind the original poisoning, prompting them to act against him again. I'm still not strong enough. I need to break through to the Qi condensation realm as soon as possible. The cultivation realms included the body tempering realm, Qi condensation realm, foundation building realm, core formation realm, nascent soul realm, and the divine transformation realm. Each realm was subdivided into 5 stages. Entry, minor achievement, major achievement, perfect, and peak. Most outer disciples were in the body tempering realm, while inner disciples were almost all at the Qi condensation realm, with a few elites reaching the foundation building realm. The Qi condensation realm was sufficient to hold the position of a deacon in the Qingshan sect, while the foundation building realm allowed one to become an outer sect elder. The core formation realm was the level of the sect leader, deputy sect leader, and inner sect elders of the Qingshan sect. The stages beyond, the nascent soul and divine transformation realms, were seen only in more powerful sects. If Shinemo could quickly return to the Qi condensation realm, he would certainly be able to protect himself. The next day, as soon as Shinemo woke up, he heard crying outside. Opening his door, he saw Lei Yong and his 2 lackeys ganging up on another outer disciple, beating him while hurling insults. Last month you borrowed 20 low-grade spirit stones from me, and with the agreed interest, you owe me 30 this month. His lackeys, taking advantage of their position, chimed in. Right, Brother Lei is only asking for 25 this time. He's already being more than fair. The beleaguered disciple pleaded. That's what I saved to buy body-tempering pills. Without them, I can't pass the end-of-year assessment, Brother Lei. Please give them back. I'm begging you. The other outer disciples watching the scene showed 2 starkly different attitudes. Those who were stronger, either close to or above Lei Yong's level, watched with arms crossed, indifferent and uninterested in intervening. The weaker ones were filled with fear, terrified that they might be the next targets, and likewise, they dared not step forward to help. In the end, they could only watch helplessly as the outer disciple was beaten bloody. Lei Yong stood on the disciple's chest and sneered coldly. Remember, you still owe me 5 low-grade spirit stones. His 2 lackeys chuckled. Let's go, Brother Lei. Let's head to the dining hall for a meal. Lei Yong grunted. Yeah, after eating, we'll go to the scripture pavilion. I need to pick a badass martial technique. With that, the 3 of them swaggered off. Shinemo watched from his room. His current strength was not sufficient to intervene. Moreover, he recognized the beaten outer disciple. When his predecessor was still the top outer disciple, he was generous and often helped the weaker disciples. This beaten disciple was one of them, however. After his predecessors fall back to the entry level of the body tempering realm, none of those he had helped returned the favor. This disciple was no exception. Nevertheless, Lei Yong seems to have found another opportunity. Shinemo thought reflectively. He had clearly seen Lei Yong's panel information. Name: Lei Yong Realm. Major achievement of body tempering realm. Fate: family scion, skilled with blades and spears, somewhat lucky destiny. Ultimately stops at the great achievement of the Qi condensation realm, serves as a deacon of the Qingshan sect, and is killed by a passing demonic cultivator while on a mission 7 years later. Recent opportunity. Feeling his defensive techniques were lacking, he went to the scripture pavilion to choose a martial technique and accidentally found a profound grade martial technique in the cover of Tiger's Roar Fist. Shinemo noticed 2 things. First, Lei Yong's destiny had undergone significant changes previously. He was destined to stop at the peak of the Qi condensation realm, but now he was downgraded to great achievement. This indicated that the marrow cleansing pill had indeed greatly enhanced Lei Yong. After all, it could cleanse the marrow and eliminate bodily impurities, effectively accelerating his future cultivation. Secondly, Lei Yong's recent opportunity. Going to the scripture pavilion to choose a martial technique and accidentally finding a profound grade martial technique. That's something straight out of a novel's protagonist's luck. Shinemo mused. Cultivation techniques and martial skills, like treasures, are categorized into 4 tiers: heavenly, earthly, profound, and yellow, each with 4 grades. Low, middle, upper, and supreme outer disciples can select a yellow grade cultivation technique or martial skill for free from the scripture pavilion every time they break through a minor realm. Other times, they must pay with spirit stones. A profound grade martial skill, however, is available for free only to inner disciples, or else it costs at least 300 low-grade spirit stones, when his body's former owner was the top outer disciple. He had also wanted to save up for a profound grade martial skill, but coming from a poor background, he could only rely on himself. Spirit stones also needed to be spent on body-tempering pills. Thus, he could never save enough spirit stones. If he could acquire this profound grade martial skill, his strength would surely soar. Taking advantage of him going to the dining hall for breakfast, I'll head to the scripture pavilion first and take that profound grade martial skill before he does. Thinking this, Shen Mo immediately set off for the scripture pavilion. The Qingxian sect was established within the Qingcang mountain range. The tallest and largest of these, Qingcang Mountain, towered above all. Menial and outer disciples lived at the foot of the mountain. Buildings like the Scripture Pavilion, Treasure Pavilion, and the inner disciples' quarters were located on the mountainside. Further up were the residences of the elders, deputy sect leader, and sect leader. As Shen Mo climbed the steps, the peak in front of him emanated a formidable spiritual energy, a great white waterfall like a flowing ribbon, cascaded from the summit into a deep pool below. Its thunderous roar echoing like a herd of charging horses. Mighty trees with branches twisted like dragons lined the staircase, with many pavilions and halls hidden among them. This was Shen Mo's first time witnessing such a celestial scene, stirring his spirit profoundly. Chapter 3. A moment later, Shen Mo walked into a pavilion. This was a grand and magnificent pavilion constructed from centuries-old spiritual wood, ensuring it would not be susceptible to insect damage or rot. At the entrance of the first floor of the scripture pavilion stood a middle-aged man with a sinister face. This man was the deacon responsible for guarding the scripture pavilion. Of course, he was not some highly esteemed elder or unparalleled expert. He was merely an ordinary deacon at the condensation stage. In front of Shen Mo, there were 2 other disciples waiting in line to enter. Both were outer sect disciples, one burly and the other emaciated. The burly disciple had a broad back and a robust build, with a powerful aura of vitality. With a glance, Shen Mo could tell he had at least reached the peak of the body-tempering realm. As for the emaciated disciple, his face was sallow and he was only at the entry level of the body-tempering realm. Such outer sect disciples were always the targets of Lei Yong's extortion. When the deacon of the scripture pavilion saw the burly disciple, he enthusiastically stood up. "Please come in, if you need anything, just let me know." But when the emaciated disciple tried to enter, the deacon's demeanor changed. He rudely extended his hand, 1 lower-grade spirit stone. Spirit stones are the hard currency among cultivators. Spirit stones are classified by purity into supreme grade, high grade, mid-grade, and lower grade. The exchange ratio is roughly 1 to 100. 1 mid-grade spirit stone can be exchanged for 100 lower-grade spirit stones. However, 100 lower-grade spirit stones might not necessarily be exchanged for 1 mid-grade spirit stone. The price often inflates to about 106 or 110. The emaciated disciple was stunned upon hearing this, gritting his teeth. "Why doesn't that senior brother have to pay to enter? But I do." The deacon of the scripture pavilion sneered disdainfully. "How can someone at the entry level of the body-tempering realm compare to someone at the peak? Pay up. Otherwise, you won't be entering today." In the end, the emaciated disciple couldn't stand the confrontation and had to leave in frustration. 1 lower-grade spirit stone was already a third of his entire wealth. He couldn't give it up so easily. After the emaciated disciple left, it was Shen Mo's turn. The deacon glanced at Shen Mo. "Name." Shen Mo reported his name. The deacon looked up at him and sneered. "So you're the former number 1 outer sect disciple. Your foundation is ruined, yet you still want to choose martial skills?" Shen Mo frowned. "Every disciple of the Qingxian sect can choose martial skills. Why can't I?" The deacon let out a strange laugh. "Of course you can. Hand over 1 lower-grade spirit stone and I'll let you in." Shen Mo was speechless. According to sect rules, disciples could enter and exit the scripture pavilion for free, only needing to pay after selecting a technique or martial skill. But where there are rules, there are ways around them. The deacon had limited power. But he could still exploit the weak and collect extra fees. He cleverly avoided targeting the strong so no one could do anything about him. Not wanting to waste time, Shin-emo took out a lower-grade spirit stone and handed it over. The deacon grinned. "That's the spirit. I like people who know their place. Go on in." He waved his hand, not bothering to argue further with Shin-emo. Shin-emo couldn't help but shake his head. The lower levels had become like this, and the upper levels of the Qingxian sect didn't intervene? Or was the entire Qingxian sect rotten to the core? Shin-emo glanced at his life panel. The deacon's potential had reached its end. It would take him 3 years to reach the foundation establishment stage, and he would only achieve minor success in that lifetime, however. The deacon had a good opportunity upcoming opportunity. In 3 days, during a trip to Qingshan City to seek pleasure, he will encounter a treasure-seeking rat but fail to catch it, only picking up 3 lower-grade spirit stones. A treasure-seeking rat is a spirit beast particularly fond of shiny treasures, especially spirit stones. Its attack power is weak, but it's incredibly fast without special bait. Even a peak chi condensation stage cultivator can't catch it. Shin-emo noted this opportunity. The bait wasn't hard to make, but it needed to be prepared in advance. In 3 days. If he brought the bait to that location, he would surely catch the treasure-seeking rat and obtain all the spirit stones it carried. He walked briskly, moving among the many bookshelves. The first floor of the scripture pavilion housed yellow-grade techniques and martial skills. On the second floor, there were profound-grade techniques and martial skills, but only inner sect disciples could go upstairs. The layout was such because profound-grade techniques and martial skills were rare and precious. The Qingxian sect was the largest force within 100 miles, but it only had 3 profound-grade techniques and 8 profound-grade martial skills. Such high-grade texts were naturally reserved for the top-tier genius disciples. Outer sect disciples naturally couldn't access these. Shin-emo slowly advanced, his gaze quickly moving among the various techniques and martial skills, examining each one carefully without missing any. After a moment, he found his target. Yellow-grade low-tier martial skill, Tiger Roar Fist. He picked up this seemingly ordinary fist technique and examined it closely. He noticed that the cover of this book was slightly thicker than usual. If he hadn't picked it up and looked carefully, no one would have noticed this detail. Shin-emo pressed firmly and indeed found something unusual beneath the heavy cover. He pulled out 2 yellowed pages from the inside of the cover. The pages were densely packed with small characters. At the top, there were 4 prominent characters. Thunder. Shadow Sword Modification. Shin-emo was slightly surprised. He had heard of the Thunder Shadow Sword technique. It was one of the 8 profound-grade martial skills kept in the Qingxian sect's vault. Known for its great power and extreme speed. Classified as a mid-tier profound-grade technique, however, it was very difficult to cultivate, so even among the inner sect disciples, few practiced it. This seems to be a new sword technique created by some expert after innovating the Thunder Shadow Sword. Shin-emo was excited and immediately tucked it into his chest. Regardless, this was a profound-grade martial skill. Even a slight achievement with it would greatly enhance his strength. Shin-emo placed the Tiger Roar Fist back in its original position and turned to leave the scripture pavilion. Just as he stepped out, he ran into Lei Yong, who was just coming in. Lei Yong frowned slightly when he saw him. "What are you doing here?" Shin-emo hadn't expected to run into him right after coming out. However, he didn't show any panic and responded calmly. "Many of my martial skills have been neglected, so I came to the scripture pavilion to review them. Is there a problem with that?" Lei Yong let out a strange laugh. "Of course not. If they were at the foot of the mountain and Shin-emo dared to speak to him like this, he would have punched him on the spot. But here, on the mountainside, people were coming and going, including both inner and outer sect disciples. If he directly attacked Shin-emo, it would not look good." Shin-emo continued forward. "Wait." Lei Yong glanced over and suddenly noticed Shin-emo's slightly bulging chest. "Your chest looks a bit puffed up. Are you hiding something?" Lei Yong smirked, grabbing Shin-emo's clothes. His eyes seemed to say, "If you don't show me, I'll check myself. I need to take on tasks to earn spirit stones. I'll get hungry while working, so I brought a few buns with me. What's the problem?" Shin-emo pulled open his front, took out a bun, and waved it in front of Lei Yong. Lei Yong gave a forced smile. Fine, of course, it's fine. He withdrew his hand without saying more. Don't forget the rules. For any task you take on, I get 1/10 of the reward. Shinemo said nothing, cold-faced, and quickly walked away. Lei Yong snorted and stepped into the scripture pavilion. The deacon at the entrance recognized Lei Yong and immediately greeted him warmly. Though he was a chi condensation stage cultivator, he was already in his 40s with his potential exhausted, but Lei Yong was only 18 or 19 years old. As long as he grew normally, his future achievements would certainly surpass his. Moreover, Lei Yong was from a family with a cousin who was an inner sect disciple. Naturally, he treated Lei Yong with utmost enthusiasm. Lei Yong nodded at him and walked among the bookshelves. His gaze roved over the various techniques and martial skills, but he couldn't find a martial skill that suited him. At some point, he suddenly stopped. His eyes rested on a martial skill called Tiger Roar Fist. There's something odd about this book's cover. Lei Yong picked up the Tiger Roar Fist and immediately felt there might be something hidden inside the cover. But after pressing it, he found it was empty. Tsh, just my imagination. Lei Yong put the Tiger Roar Fist back, not wasting any more time, however. For some reason, he suddenly felt a sense of loss. It was as if something he was supposed to obtain had inexplicably slipped away. Chapter 4. On the other side, Shinemo left the scripture pavilion and hurried back to the outer sect disciples' courtyard at the foot of the mountain. Returning to his residence, as soon as he got back, he tightly closed the door and took out the 2 pages from his chest, beginning to study them earnestly. He spent 2 hours reading through them. After finishing, Shinemo sighed. This person's modifications to the Thunder Shadow Sword are quite peculiar. On one hand, it enhances the power and speed, but, on the other hand, it also increases the difficulty of cultivation. However, I can continuously seize others' opportunities, so I'll surely find a way to speed up my cultivation. Let's start practicing now. Shinemo put away the sword technique, picked up an iron sword, and began practicing diligently with such serious cultivation. Half a month quickly passed in a bamboo forest at the foot of the mountain. At this moment, the sound of slicing through the air echoed continuously from a distance. One could see a young man wielding an iron sword like a wild snake, swift as lightning, deadly as a serpent. A moment later, the young man sheathed his sword. The ground was littered with dozens of halved bamboo leaves. The young man, drenched in sweat, laughed with satisfaction. The first level of the Thunder Shadow Sword technique is indeed formidable. Each strike is lethal, but it consumes a lot of stamina. Luckily, I have reached the major achievement of the body tempering realm. Otherwise, a single strike would have left me exhausted. The young man was none other than Shinemo. The Thunder Shadow Sword technique had only 3 levels. Many inner sect disciples and elders had also practiced the Thunder Shadow Sword technique, but they only managed to comprehend the 2nd level and got stuck there. Few could comprehend the 3rd level. Shinmo's rapid improvement in half a month and his ability to comprehend the 2nd level of the Thunder Shadow Sword technique was due to fortuitous opportunities. Previously, he had intercepted the deacon's opportunity, using bait to catch the treasure-seeking rat, obtaining more than 20 lower-grade spirit stones. He used these spirit stones to buy 2 body-tempering pills from the treasure pavilion. Subsequently, during this half-month, he intercepted 2 more opportunities from Lei Yong. One was a nighttime walk where he inadvertently had an epiphany at Sword Cliff, improving his swordsmanship. The other was slipping and falling into water, where he unexpectedly found a piece of emerald pond algae underwater. This algae is a high-grade yellow-grade medicinal herb without needing to be refined into a pill. Consuming it directly can enhance one's cultivation. 1 piece of emerald pond algae is equivalent to 2 body-tempering pills. Very valuable. Shinemo seized both of these opportunities before Lei Yong. In total, he had the equivalent of consuming 4 body-tempering pills, restoring his cultivation to the major achievement of the body-tempering realm. If I remember correctly, today is the day for distributing medicinal liquid to the outer sect disciples. Shinemo suddenly recalled and headed toward the outer sect disciples' courtyard at the foot of the mountain. Every month, outer sect disciples receive 2 bottles of 100 herb liquid. This medicinal liquid is far inferior to body-tempering pills, 10 bottles barely equaling one body tempering pill, but still, having it is better than not having it. Moreover, the 100 herb liquid is distributed for free, with everyone receiving 2 bottles. Sure enough, when he returned to the outer sect disciples' courtyard, many disciples had already gathered there. At the center was a makeshift platform. On the platform stood a deacon with a composed demeanor. Deacons, unlike elders, were generally also inner sect disciples. Some deacons were assigned to towns governed by the sect, responsible for managing inns, merchant associations, or recruiting new disciples. Within the territory of the Qinshan sect, there were 3 towns including Qinshan City, over a dozen villages, and hundreds of hamlets. The outer sect disciples lined up, one by one receiving their 2 bottles of 100 herb liquid from the deacon. When receiving the medicinal liquid, they had to verify their outer sect disciple token and appearance to ensure no one received extra. Shen Mo also received his 2 bottles of 100 herb liquid. Though this liquid was mediocre, it was better than nothing. After distributing the 100 herb liquid, the deacon quickly left without interacting with the outer sect disciples at all. Shen Mo also planned to wander around, looking for any valuable opportunities. However, just as he had this thought, he saw Lei Yong already leading his 2 lackeys, knocking on doors to seize the 100 herb liquid from each disciple. 1 bottle was taken for every 1 bottle kept. They probably know that if they take everything, these outer sect disciples will have no choice but to fight them desperately. Those unwilling to hand over their share were immediately beaten up by Lei Yong and his gang. Soon, they arrived at Shen Mo's place. Lei Yong sneered, "Yo, senior brother Shen, haven't seen you in a few days. Every time I see you, I think of the once mighty number 1 outer sect disciple." His 2 lackeys laughed loudly. "Indeed? So glorious back then. Too bad, now you've become a loser." Lei Yong sneered, "Hand it over, or do you want a beating too?" Shen Mo narrowed his eyes. At this distance, Lei Yong was wide open, while his sword hung at his waist. If he struck with the Thunder Shadow sword technique, he could hit Lei Yong's throat in 1 move, killing him instantly. Lei Yong's 2 lackeys, only at the minor achievement of the body tempering realm, would be no match for him, but Qin Xian's sect had strict rules forbidding killing within the sect. Killing Lei Yong would feel great, but it would also result in punishment and death by sect rules. Instead, it would be better to find an opportunity to quietly eliminate Lei Yong outside the sect. Understanding this, Shen Mo handed over 1 bottle of 100 herb liquid without resistance. Lei Yong smirked, "No, 1 bottle is not enough." Shen Mo's gaze sharpened. Lei Yong's sneer deepened, "Your foundation is damaged. Drinking more 100 herb liquid is useless. Better give it to me, I'll make better use of it." His 2 lackeys laughed even louder. "Yeah, it's pointless for a cripple to drink 100 herb liquid." After a moment of silence, Shen Mo handed over the 2nd bottle as well. Lei Yong sneered, "Smart move." Then suddenly he kicked Shen Mo in the chest, sending him flying. "But who said that just being smart would save you from a beating?" "Ha ha." Lei Yong laughed heartily, holding the 2 bottles of 100 herb liquid, and walked out with his 2 lackeys to the next house. Shen Mo calmly got up, holding his chest, a cold gleam in his eyes. Today, Lei Yong would die. Just now, he saw a new opportunity appearing for Lei Yong. Name, Lei Yong. Realm, major achievement of the body tempering realm. Fate, family disciple. Weapon mastery, minor luck. Destiny ultimately stops at the entry level of the Qi condensation realm. Becomes a deacon of Qinshan sect. 5 years later, while on a mission, gets betrayed and killed by teammates. Recent opportunity. This afternoon, leaves Qinshan sect, meets a female disciple for a rendezvous at Bull Dragon Mountain. The female disciple has found a stronger man and stands him up. In his rage, Lei Yong vents his anger on the surrounding trees and accidentally discovers a century-old blood lingji. Consuming it helps him surpass the perfection of the body tempering realm and reach the peak of the body tempering realm. Blood lingji is an extremely rare medicinal herb classified as a supreme yellow grade herb. A century-old blood lingji is even a mid-tier profound grade herb. Although it could be used to refine pills for better results, consuming it directly was also beneficial. Shen Mo's eyes deepened. He immediately began making preparations. Bull Dragon Mountain. This place was about 30 miles from Qinshan sect's mountain gate. Under a giant tree, Lei Yong had arrived early, waiting for the female disciple. Just thinking about her fiery figure made Lei Yong feel hot. Today, I'll make sure she experiences the prowess of my silver spear. He chuckled, lost in his fantasies. However, after waiting a long time, the beautiful figure still hadn't appeared. Lei Yong frowned deeply. He realized he had been stood up. Could it be that the woman had found another man? The thought made Lei Yong furious. Blinded by anger, he started venting his rage on the surrounding trees. At that moment, he wished someone would appear so he could beat them like a sandbag. Just then, a surprised voice came from behind him. Senior brother Lei. You're here too, great. Chapter 5. Lei Yong was taken aback and looked towards the source of the voice. He saw a familiar figure, Shin Mo, the one who had fallen hard from the top position of the outer sect. Lei Yong sneered, Shin Mo, you're just in time. I was just thinking. Shin Mo quickly said, I discovered a dying second-rank demon beast. We can split the spoils from killing it, 90-10, you get 90. How about it? Lei Yong was stunned. Demon beasts were simply categorized into ranks, such as first rank, second rank, third rank, and so on. A first-rank demon beast was equivalent to a body-tempering realm cultivator. A second-rank demon beast was equivalent to a chi condensation realm cultivator, and so it continued in this manner. Demon beasts were treasures all over. Their fur could be made into clothing, their flesh could be eaten. Their bones could be crafted into weapons. Importantly, a second rank demon beast might have a demon crystal in its body. Chi condensation realm cultivators could absorb demon crystals to quickly enhance their cultivation. A thumb-sized demon crystal could sell for at least 50 lower-grade spirit stones. Lei Yong immediately set aside his anger. What was a woman compared to a demon crystal? He quickly asked, where's the dying demon beast? Take me there. Shin Mo nodded, follow me. He walked ahead, leading Lei Yong to a nearby grove. Lei Yong watched his back with a sinister look in his eyes. A second-rank demon beast, even without a demon crystal, would still be worth 50 lower-grade spirit stones if sold completely. Shin Mo had proposed a 90-10 split, but even with a 90-10 split, Lei Yong felt he was losing out. He wanted it all, and here. Far from the Qingshan sect's mountain gate, even if he did something against the sect rules, no one would know. If Shin Mo, who had no background, disappeared, no one would notice. As for whether he could kill Shin Mo, that wasn't even a question. He was at the major achievement of the body-tempering realm, with enhanced skin, muscles, and bones. But Shin Mo was just at the entry level of the body-tempering realm. Even if he stood still and let Shin Mo attack, Shin Mo wouldn't break his defense. But one punch from him would gravely injure Shin Mo. His overwhelming superiority in cultivation gave him confidence. At this moment, Shin Mo pointed to the front where a dying demon beast lay. Look, it's right there. You deal with it head-on, and I'll support from the side. Saying this, he drew his sword from his waist. Lei Yong was overjoyed and immediately walked over. His entire focus was on the demon beast, unaware. Behind him, Shin Mo's gaze was fixed on his back. Now, Shin Mo and Lei Yong were only half a meter apart. Lei Yong's back was completely turned to him. Shin Mo had deliberately set up this situation to expose Lei Yong's vital points completely. Thunder Shadow Sword Technique. Shin Mo's sword suddenly thrust forward, like a gust of wind and thunder, like a striking serpent, without any warning. It precisely pierced Lei Yong's back. Blood splattered. The intense pain made Lei Yong suddenly realize that Shin Mo had attacked him, but by the time he realized it, it was too late. Strength seemed to flow out of his body like water. He barely turned around, only to see Shin Mo coldly looking down at him. Lei Yong, terrified, said, You're not at the entry level of the body-tempering realm. The entry level of the body-tempering realm could never break through his defense. The only answer was that Shin Mo, like him, was also at the major achievement of the body-tempering realm. But wasn't this person supposed to have his foundation destroyed? How could he still cultivate? Shin Mo looked down at him. You must really want to know the answer. Lei Yong nodded weakly. Considering I'm dying, tell me. Shin Mo withdrew his sword and directly pierced his throat, sneering. Why should I let you die in peace? Lei Yong's eyes bulged like a goldfish to his death. He could not understand how Shin Mo could repair his foundation and reach the major achievement of the body-tempering realm in such a short time. Shin Mo's expression remained indifferent, fighting Lei Yong head-on. He had a 70 to 80% chance of killing him, but there was still a 10 to 20% chance that he might escape, so, to ensure a 100% kill, he set up this trap. the so-called dying second-rank demon. Beast was just a large first-rank demon beast he found along the way, severely injured, and placed here as bait. Shin Mo bent down and searched Lei Yong's corpse. He only found more than 20 lower-grade spirit stones. But that was normal. Who goes out for a tryst carrying all their wealth? Afterward, Shin Mo went to the giant tree. The tree looked normal, but when he pierced it with his sword, he found it hollow inside. After digging out a large hole, Shin Mo saw a blood-colored lingji inside. Indeed, it's blood lingji. Shin Mo carefully took it out, wrapped it in a clean cloth, and put it in his chest. As for Lei Yong's body, he slashed it a dozen times with his sword, deliberately letting the blood flow out and intensifying the smell of blood in the air. There were many demon beasts in this area smelling the blood. They would naturally come over. Demon beasts were the best way to dispose of a body. Killing Lei Yong, Shin Mo felt no discomfort. Such villains deserved to die soon. Shin Mo returned to the outer sect disciples' courtyard at the foot of the Qingxian sect mountain, went back to his residence, tightly closed the door, and bolted it. Only then did he take out the blood lingji. He carefully examined the palm-sized, blood-colored lingji with a light sniff. He smelled its refreshing fragrance, making him salivate with a gentle poke. The blood lingji trembled like a woman's smooth skin. Shin Mo first cut off a small piece of the blood lingji and put it in his mouth. The blood lingji melted in his mouth, quickly turning into a surging warmth that flowed into his organs, limbs, and bones. Just this thumb-sized piece made him feel warm all over, incredibly comfortable. Shin Mo hurriedly cut the rest of the blood lingji into small pieces and ate them all. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He felt a hot little snake seemingly slithering through his body. Sometimes it appeared in his organs, sometimes it traveled through his blood vessels. Sometimes it roamed his muscles and bones, and sometimes it wandered through his limbs. Each time the hot little snake moved, it made the areas it passed through stronger and tougher. A sensation of soreness and pain also came, gnawing at Shin Mo's nerves. He gritted his teeth and endured, not fainting. After an hour, the warmth in his body gradually subsided. Shin Mo clenched his fist, feeling as if his body had become heavier. His heartbeat grew stronger, like a high-powered pump. Each beat pushed the viscous yet vibrant blood throughout his body, nourishing his muscles and bones. If someone could see inside his bones, they would see that his bone marrow was as pure as jade, flawless and free of impurities. The blood produced seemed to carry a hint of jade glow, blood like mercury, marrow like frost. This was the hallmark of the peak of the body-tempering realm. His previous self had reached this realm, so upon noticing the changes in his body, Shin Mo immediately knew he had returned to the peak of the body-tempering realm. No wonder it's a mid-tier profound-grade treasure. Just one blood lingji directly pushed me from the major achievement to the peak of the body-tempering realm. Shin Mo clenched his fist, his expression full of joy. Chapter 6. After a brief moment of joy, Shin Mo opened his panel again. Name, Shin Mo. Realm, peak of the body-tempering realm. Fate, pharmacist's son. Innate wisdom, sword path enthusiast. Mediocre luck, destiny. 2 months later, while on a mission, ambushed and captured by Lei Xiaojun and several rogue cultivators, taken back to Qinshan City to force Shen Jioding to hand over a mysterious elixir. Shen Jioding, to save his son, reluctantly hands over the elixir. Both father and son are then killed by Lei Xiaojun. Recent opportunity 1. Obtained discovered a hollow inside a giant tree while killing Lei Yong and found a blood lingji, consuming it to reach the peak of the body-tempering realm. Recent opportunity 2. Passes the outer sect disciple assessment in 1.5 months, reclaiming the top position among outer sect disciples. Shin Mo was slightly surprised. The mediocre luck, fate, which previously belonged to Lei Yong, had now transferred to him. This meant he would occasionally encounter opportunities similar to those Lei Yong had. He continued reading, and his eyes flashed coldly as he saw his destiny and recent opportunities. His destiny had significantly changed since his realm advanced to the peak of the body-tempering realm. He also got a name, Lei Xiaojun. Shin Mo was very familiar with this person. Lei Xiaojun was Lei Yong's cousin and the most outstanding young man of the Lei family in Qinshan City. In the inner sect, Lei Xiaojun had a great reputation. Always portraying himself as a gentleman, he knew about Lei Yong's frequent bullying of weaker outer sect disciples and often scolded Lei Yong publicly, repeatedly warning him not to bully fellow disciples. However, Lei Yong always pretended to comply on the surface while secretly defying him. Many outer and inner sect disciples had heard of this. Many inner sect disciples believed Lei Xiaojun had the potential to become a true disciple. True disciples were the elite among the inner sect disciples. Each true disciple had the potential to reach the core formation realm in the future. The Qin Xian sect allocated many resources to the true disciples, despite controlling 3 cities. Over a dozen villages and hundreds of hamlets with the entire Qingtsong mountain range under its domain, the Qin Xian sect could only support 5 true disciples. Shen Jioding was Shen Mo's father, a renowned pharmacist in Qinshan City. He spent his life doing good, treating and saving many people. A mysterious elixir? I remember now, my former self's father once mentioned that he saved a dying cultivator who gave him several precious elixirs, saying these pills could enhance wisdom and help his descendants tread the path of immortality. Shen Mo pondered, such an elixir must be very valuable, possibly a supreme-grade profound tier elixir. His former self gained the innate wisdom, fate, and extraordinary comprehension after consuming the elixir. The Lei family must have learned about this and decided to seize the elixir. However, due to Shen Jioding's high reputation, the Lei family couldn't rob him outright, so they kidnapped Shen Mo to force Shen Jioding to hand over the elixir. Everything makes sense now. Shen Jioding sent me to the Qin Xian sect to cultivate, hoping to remove me from danger. If I progressed normally and entered the inner sect, my status would increase and the Lei family's covert threats would be less concerning. The Lei family couldn't allow this, so they secretly poisoned me, causing my cultivation to plummet, leading to my expulsion from the Qin Xian sect. The person who orchestrated my poisoning must have been Lei Xiaojun, with Lei Yong carrying out the act. Shen Mo quickly pieced everything together. After all, one only lets their guard down around those close to them, making it possible for a close person to poison their food and drink. During that time, Lei Yong had pretended to be his most loyal subordinate. Shen Mo quickly sorted his thoughts. The panel shows I'll be captured by Lei Xiaojun then, and there's nothing I can do about it. The difference in strength between the peak of the body tempering realm and the qi condensation realm is 2. Great. In that case, I must advance to the qi condensation realm and become an inner sect disciple. Once I reach the qi condensation realm with the Thunder Shadow Sword technique, Lei Xiaojun won't be my match. Becoming an inner sect disciple will grant me the sect's protection, unlike the precarious status of an outer sect disciple. If an outer sect disciple died, the Qin Xian sect wouldn't be affected, but if an inner sect disciple died, the Qin Xian sect would thoroughly investigate. Every inner sect disciple was a valuable asset to the sect as long as they grew normally. They could at least serve as deacons. If they had great potential, they could even become outer or inner sect elders. It was even possible for them to become the next sect master. If inner sect disciples could die casually without any investigation, the sect would surely fall into chaos. Shen Mo's gaze deepened, his goal became firm. Body-tempering realm cultivators could passively absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Once spiritual energy was nurtured into a cyclone within the Dantian, it signified entry into the qi condensation realm. From then on, they could use spiritual energy in battles compared to the body-tempering realm, which relied solely on physical strength. The qi condensation realm's power was at least 3 times greater. But with my current aptitude, naturally entering the qi condensation realm might take a year or 2. I need to find an opportunity to break through as soon as possible. At dawn the next day, Shen Mo pushed open the door and stepped out. He needed to find a significant opportunity. Outer sect disciples bustled to and fro, and their life panels appeared before Shen Mo one by one. However, they either had no opportunities or had minor ones, such as finding a few lower-grade spirit stones. Some were even doomed to fatal misfortunes, like being accidentally struck on the head during a meal and dying instantly. Shen Mo was speechless at these unfortunate panels. Just then, he heard a group of outer sect disciples shouting, "Did you hear? Lei Yong was found dead at Bull Dragon Mountain. His body was discovered by a passing disciple, and I heard that even his body was eaten clean by demon beasts. It's a tragedy. If not for his outer sect disciple token, no one would have known it was Lei Yong." Really? That's great news. That bully got what he deserved. But how did he die? Was he attacked by demon beasts? Who knows, but it must have been demon beasts. It's not uncommon. There are plenty of demon beasts around the Qingtsong mountain range. Now that Lei Yong is dead, his 2 lackeys have no backing. Let's go teach them a lesson. Yeah, let's go. Damn, they stole my spirit stones. This time, I'm stripping them bare. The news spread quickly soon. The entire outer sect disciples' courtyard knew of Lei Yong's death moments later. The sounds of fighting and looting could be heard from a distance. Lei Yong's 2 lackeys were beaten until they were barely breathing and wouldn't recover for 3 to 5 months. They would likely be expelled from the mountain in the future. Shinemo felt no sympathy for such people. They deserved their fate, just as he was about to head to the mountainside to see if any disciples there had significant opportunities. He overheard a conversation nearby. Let's go to the mountainside and watch the show. Xiaofan has broken through to the Qi condensation realm and is challenging Lei Xiaojun. Lei Xiaojun just found out about his cousin Lei Yong's death, and he's in a foul mood. This will be interesting. Shinmo's lips curled into a cold smile. Interesting indeed. He was familiar with both individuals. Lei Xiaojun was, of course, Lei Yong's cousin and an inner sect disciple. As for Xiaofan, Shinemo remembered that when he was still the top outer sect disciple, Xiaofan had just joined the sect. Lei Yong frequently targeted new disciples like Xiaofan. As a result, Xiaofan had often been beaten up. Shinemo had helped him once, even giving him some spirit stones to buy healing pills. Xiaofan had been grateful, vowing to repay Shinmo's kindness. However, when Shinemo fell from grace, Xiaofan had disappeared faster than anyone, never mentioning Shinemo again, treating him like a stranger. But for Xiaofan to break through to the Qi condensation realm in just over a year since joining the sect, his fortune must be strong. Perhaps I can find an opportunity through him to reach the Qi condensation realm. Shinemo hurried to the mountainside. Mountainside martial arena. When Shinemo arrived, over 100 outer sect disciples had already gathered around the arena, discussing fervently. Their discussions revolved around the famed techniques and the strength comparison of the two combatants. On the arena stood 2 figures. One wore a deep blue outfit, with a sword at his waist. The other was dressed in black, unarmed. They were Lei Xiaojun and Xiaofan. The 2 stood motionless, yet their powerful auras radiated, indicating their entry into the Qi condensation realm. Their intense auras heightened the spectators' anticipation. Eager to see who would emerge victorious, Shinemo first glanced at Lei Xiaojun's life panel. Chapter 7. Name: Lei Xiaojun Realm. Minor achievement of the Qi condensation realm. Fate: family scion, thunder spirit body, remarkable luck, destiny. Ultimately stops at the major achievement of the core formation realm, becomes an inner sect elder of Qingxian sect, and dies 26 years later during an external campaign. Recent opportunity 1. Wins the battle against Xiaofan, leaves the sect to investigate the cause of his cousin Lei Yong's death, and accidentally discovers a dragon root in Green Vine Valley, increasing his cultivation after consuming it. Recent opportunity 2. 2 months later, instructs disciples to post a task to lure Shinemo into accepting it. Once Shinemo leaves the sect, Lei Xiaojun commands rogue cultivators to ambush and capture him. They take him back to Qingshan City to force Shen Jioding to hand over the mysterious elixir. After obtaining the elixir, Lei Xiaojun kills both father and son and consumes the elixir, greatly enhancing his comprehension. Family scion: Green Fate, you are from the Lei family of Qingshan City. Raised with medicinal baths from a young age to build a solid foundation, never lacking in wealth, thunder spirit body. Purple Fate, you have a natural affinity for lightning and can cultivate thunder attribute techniques and martial skills faster than others. Remarkable luck. Purple Fate, you have extraordinarily good luck, often astonishing others with your fortune. Seeing this, Shinmo's eyes flashed with coldness. His life panel and Lei Xiaojun's had verified each other. This person indeed planned to kidnap him to force Shen Jioding to hand over the elixir. However, now that Shinemo was aware of Lei Xiaojun's intentions, he only needed to increase his strength to escape this predicament. He then turned his gaze to Xiaofan. Name: Xiaofan. Realm: entry level of the Qi condensation realm. Fate: child of fortune, immortal grace, reincarnation of a great one, surviving. In desperation, scorching sun flame body unawakened destiny stops at the peak of the nascent soul realm, becomes the hall master of the burning heaven hall, honored as true immortal chiefing. To sever mortal ties, he seeks enlightenment through slaughter. Massacring 10 cities, leaving corpses piled high in rivers of blood, ultimately losing himself in the carnage and dying from a spiritual energy backlash. A series of radiant red fates almost made Shin Mo unable to keep his eyes open. Looking closer, he was even more astounded. Child of fortune. Red fate, you are blessed with incredible luck, often receiving peerless treasures just by walking around and finding top-tier techniques on your way home. Immortal grace. Red fate. You are exceptionally handsome, with every move charming people of all ages and genders. This makes it easy for you to receive help from others. Reincarnation of a great one. Red fate, you are the reincarnation of a divine transformation stage cultivator who used a secret technique to be reborn, surviving in desperation. Red fate, you can always turn danger into safety, and while others face certain death, you will survive. Scorching sun flame body unawakened. Red fate. A heavenly constitution with a remarkable fire spiritual root, cultivating fire attribute techniques and martial skills yields twice the results with half the effort. Shin Mo marveled at this. With so many powerful fates, it was no wonder Xiao Fan had advanced from an ordinary person to the peak of the body-tempering realm in just over a year. However, his ultimate end was quite horrifying, seeking enlightenment through slaughter, massacring 10 cities, leaving corpses piled high in rivers of blood. Just imagining the scene made Shin Mo feel nauseous. He continued to look at Xiao Fan's opportunities and was stunned. Recent opportunity 1. Loses the battle against Lei Xiaojun but gains the favor of the deputy sect leader's daughter, Lu Fei, who provides a rejuvenation pill to help him recover. Recent opportunity 2. 10 days later, while on a mission, he encounters a demon beast attack, falls into a cave in Twin Dragon Mountain while fleeing, and obtains Earth Mother's spiritual liquid, advancing to the minor achievement of the Qi condensation realm after consuming it. Recent opportunity 3. 1 month later, receives 3 Qi condensation pills from Lu Fei, advances to the major achievement of the Qi condensation realm, and challenges an inner sect disciple, successfully advancing to become an inner sect disciple. Recent opportunity 4. 1.5 months later, soaks in Qin Xian Sect's No. 3 medicinal pool, where he discovers the hidden blazing sun fire essence, awakening his scorching sun flame body. Recent opportunity 5. 2 months later, discovers a hidden cave in the deep pool of Qin Xian Sect, finding the heavenly technique, Hell Flame Destruction Manual, left by true immortal Hell Flame. Recent opportunity 6. Shin Mo was amazed at the sheer number of opportunities Xiao Fan had. Xiao Fan's most important upcoming opportunities were the Scorching Sun Flame Body and the Hell Flame Destruction Manual. The Scorching Sun Flame Body was a heavenly constitution. Heavenly constitutions were extremely rare and precious. In the 600-year history of Qin Xian Sect, only one heavenly constitution genius had ever appeared. However, that genius had an unfortunate fate and poor luck, being assassinated by a rival sect after reaching the entry level of the core formation realm. Even Earth-level constitutions, 1 tier below heavenly constitutions, had only appeared a dozen times in Qin Xian Sect's history. The rarity of powerful constitutions was evident. Most geniuses only had profound-level constitutions. Lei Xiaojun's Thunder Spirit Body was a profound-level constitution. The lowest yellow-level constitutions didn't need to be awakened. Anyone who reached the Qi condensation realm had a yellow-level constitution. The Hell Flame Destruction Manual was even more astounding. True immortal Hell Flame was a divine transformation stage cultivator who had dominated the region years ago. His strength was formidable, and his personality eccentric, often playing jokes on others. Before his death, he had claimed to have left his legacy, the Hell Flame Destruction Manual. In a cave, many had searched for the cave, but to no avail. The Qin Xian sect eventually established its sect in this area, and the rumor was forgotten, dismissed as true immortal Hell Flame's final joke. Shin Mo's eyes lit up with joy now. He knew the exact location of the Hell Flame Destruction Manual. However, that deep pool is a busy area. If I suddenly jump in, it will attract attention. I'll wait until I become an inner sect disciple. Then I can use the excuse of tempering my body with the waterfall's water to enter the deep pool without raising suspicion. After all, it was a heavenly technique. Even the sect leader of Qingxian's sect might shamelessly try to seize it. Shinemo quickly left the martial arena. Ready to act. Why choose between opportunities when I can have them all? He left the sect and headed straight for Green Vine Valley in the Qingsong mountain range. This valley was filled with various types of vines, including carnivorous ones. Carnivorous vines were highly aggressive but offered little reward upon defeat, so disciples rarely ventured into Green Vine Valley. Shinemo guessed that this was likely why the dragon root had not been picked by any disciple, allowing Lei Xiaojun to benefit from it instead. Soon, Shinemo discovered a peculiar orange-yellow plant in a hidden corner. Its leaves resembled fish tails, and its stem was covered with small, scale-like protrusions. Shinemo carefully uprooted it. Its roots looked like a dragon's head, hence, it was named Dragon Root. It's truly a supreme yellow-tier treasure. Shinemo took a deep breath, inhaling the rich medicinal fragrance, feeling slightly emotional. He immediately shook off the dirt, wrapped it in a clean cloth, and placed it in his chest. Then, he quickly left Green Vine Valley and headed toward Twin Dragon Mountain. Twin Dragon Mountain was also within the Qingsong mountain range. The distance between the two locations was not far. Before long, he found a hidden cave at the base of Twin Dragon Mountain. Its entrance was concealed by wild grass and low bushes. The ground nearby was already starting to loosen. A heavy step would cause one to fall directly into it. Shinemo descended and reached the deepest part of the cave. Here, he found a stalactite hanging upside down. Below the stalactite was a stone pit, filled with a small pool of milky white liquid. This was Earth Mother's spiritual liquid, a mid-tier profound-grade treasure. I might as well break through here. With the dragon root and Earth Mother's spiritual liquid, I should be able to condense a spiritual energy cyclone. These two treasures could be used by both Qi Condensation Realm cultivators and Peak Body Tempering Realm cultivators. Qi Condensation Realm cultivators could consume them to advance their realm. Peak Body Tempering Realm cultivators could use them to condense a spiritual energy cyclone. Shinemo sat cross-legged, took out the dragon root, peeled off its tough outer skin, and took a bite. The juice burst in his mouth. The medicinal power surged, rushing towards his abdomen. This was where the Dantian was located inside Shinmo's body. The spiritual energy absorbed unconsciously during the body tempering realm began to gather in the Dantian under the influence of the medicinal power. A small point was forming, but it was still far from complete. Shinemo immediately took out a water pouch, filled it with Earth Mother's spiritual liquid, and gulped it down. Glug glug glug. The spiritual energy contained in the liquid was even more abundant than in the dragon root. As the liquid entered his stomach, it felt like a small bomb exploding in his belly. The surging spiritual energy made Shinemo feel as if every inch of his body was rapidly expanding. With such abundant spiritual energy pouring in, the unformed cyclone in his Dantian began to spin faster. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. Whenever the spiritual energy depleted, Shinemo drank more of the Earth Mother's spiritual liquid. Time passed slowly. The cyclone spun faster and faster. At a certain moment, even without external spiritual energy, the cyclone continued to spin on its own, seemingly never stopping. Streams of heaven and earth spiritual energy were absorbed and refined by the cyclone, eventually transforming into pure spiritual power. Spiritual power was the fundamental strength that made Qi Condensation Realm cultivators far superior to Body Tempering Realm cultivators. Shinemo suddenly opened his eyes and laughed heartily. Qi Condensation Realm. He stood up, drew his sword, and used the Thunder Shadow Sword technique on the cave wall. Spiritual power surged. The sword shadow flashed, intertwined with lightning. Crack, the cave wall shattered. Shinmo's face lit up with joy. The cave walls were very hard, and previously, even when he was at the peak of the body tempering realm, he could at most leave a shallow mark on them with all his strength, but now, he could easily shatter them with the use of spiritual power. This was the strength of the Qi Condensation Realm. Chapter 8. My Destiny, How Is It Now? Shinemo once again opened his panel. Name, Shinemo, Realm, Early Stage Qi Condensation, Fates, Pharmacist's Son, Innate Wisdom, Sword Dao Enthusiast, Minor Luck, Destiny, ultimately cultivated to the peak of the Foundation Establishment stage. served as an outer elder of the Qingxian sect, lived a peaceful life, and died of natural causes. Upcoming opportunity 1. Acquired, went to Lutung Valley, discovered a dragon root, and after consuming it, accelerated the condensation of the spiritual qi. Vortex. Upcoming opportunity 2. Acquired, went to Twin Dragon Mountain, found an underground cave, obtained Earth Mother Spirit liquid, and after consuming it, successfully condensed the spiritual qi vortex, entering the qi condensation stage. Shen Mo let out a long, comfortable breath. Finally, he was no longer doomed to a violent death. He glanced at the pool. There was still some Earth Mother Spirit liquid left. Even after entering the qi condensation stage, this substance is still effective. It shouldn't be wasted. I'll take it all. Shen Mo picked up a water bag and took every last drop of the remaining Earth Mother Spirit liquid. Then he returned to the Qingxian sect's mountain gate. Just as he arrived, he saw a deep blue figure rushing out of the gate. It was Lei Xiaojun. He was moving so fast that several disciples couldn't dodge in time and were directly knocked flying. Shen Mo was among them. He instinctively wanted to resist but suppressed his body's reflexes and allowed himself to be knocked away. If he had resisted, Lei Xiaojun would have noticed his realm. Just as Shen Mo thought Lei Xiaojun would rush out of the gate, he suddenly stopped, turned back, and helped those he had knocked down. Are you injured? Is it serious? I have some healing pills here. Take them. I apologize. I just received news of my cousin Lei Yong's death. I was in a hurry to investigate and lost my composure. Lei Xiaojun's eyes were red, tears welling up. The disciples quickly waved their hands, saying they were fine, and thanked Lei Xiaojun for the healing pills. Then, Lei Xiaojun came to Shen Mo and naturally grasped his hands. You are Shen Mo, right? I know you. My cousin often bullied you. I warned him many times not to bully fellow disciples, but he wouldn't listen. As he spoke, Lei Xiaojun not only gave him a bottle of healing pills but also a bottle of body refining pills. Junior brother Shen, this bottle of body refining pills is for you. In a few days, I'll have someone send you more body refining pills. With these pills, you should be able to pass the outer disciple assessment. Consider it compensation on behalf of Lei Yong. Ah, you junior brothers have had it tough. As he said this, he stared intently into Shen Mo's eyes. Shen Mo first pretended to be stunned. Then his eyes lit up, and he spoke sincerely. Thank you, senior brother Lei. You are truly a good person. He quickly grasped the body refining pills in his hand. It was as if he was holding the most precious treasure, or like he was gripping a lifeline. Lei Xiaojun didn't notice anything unusual and patted Shen Mo's shoulder, then looked at the other disciples he had knocked down. Once again, I apologize to everyone. The disciples all cupped their fists, expressing their understanding. Only then did Lei Xiaojun nod and hurry out of the gate. After he left, the disciples began to talk in low voices. Senior brother Lei is really a gentleman. If it were me, I couldn't have calmed down to apologize. Yes, and you don't know, Lei Xiaojun has always admired Lu Fei. But after he defeated Xiao Fan, Lu Fei went to care for Xiao Fan's injuries. That must have been a huge blow. The news of his cousin's death, and the woman he admired turned to another man. Tsk. If it were me, I would have been consumed by rage. Senior brother Lei even compensated Shen Mo on behalf of Lei Yong. He is truly a kind person. The disciples all felt sympathy for Lei Xiaojun. At the same time, they greatly admired Lei Xiaojun's ability to maintain his gentlemanly demeanor under such circumstances. Shen Mo stood there, but his heart was alert. He had long known that Lei Xiaojun was not as simple as he appeared in that brief interaction. They had already had a short confrontation. Lei Xiaojun deliberately took out a bottle of body refining pills and used the promise of more pills as bait to test him. Shen Mo thought, body refining pills are only useful to body refinement cultivators. If my realm were still at the entry level of the body refinement stage, I would be very eager to obtain them when Lei Xiaojun offered them. If I didn't show such a reaction, it would likely mean my realm had changed. He looked in the direction Lei Xiaojun had left. This person is truly the most promising disciple of the Lei family. He is indeed extraordinary. Shen Mo quickly left the area and returned to his room. He needed to improve his strength as quickly as possible. Only by becoming stronger could he feel at ease and not have to continue pretending with someone as ruthless as Lei Xiaojun. The next day, Shen Mo got up early. As soon as he got up, he noticed the porcelain bottle on the table. It contained the 5 body refining pills Lei Xiaojun had given him. A body refinement entry-level cultivator would eagerly consume these body refining pills. Shinemo immediately got up, dug a hole under his bed and buried 2 of the pills. Then he covered the loose soil, disguising it seamlessly, and nodded slightly. He was now in the qi condensation stage, and taking body refining pills would not only be useless but also cause pill poisoning. Therefore, he had to handle it this way. I should go to the dining hall for breakfast first, then see if there are any opportunities suitable for me. Shinemo was about to push the door open and leave. Then he heard a knock on the door outside. When he opened the door, he saw Lei Xiaojun, who wore a gentle smile and looked like a refined gentleman. Lei Xiaojun was holding a lunchbox. Lei Xiaojun smiled. It seems I came at the right time. Shinemo was taken aback. Senior brother Lei, what brings you here? Lei Xiaojun smiled. I am investigating the cause of my cousin's death and came to ask you about it. May I come in? Shinemo nodded. Of course. He opened the door wide, and both of them sat down. From this angle, the disciples outside could clearly see what was happening inside the room. You haven't had breakfast yet, have you? I brought breakfast from the dining hall. Lei Xiaojun took out 5 or 6 dishes from the lunchbox. Shinemo hadn't eaten yet, so he picked up the chopsticks and started eating with great relish. Shinemo knew that Lei Xiaojun was demonstrating that the food was not poisoned. He began to eat as well. After taking a few bites, Lei Xiaojun picked up the small porcelain bottle on the table and asked casually, Junior brother Shin, did you take the body refining pills I gave you yesterday? How effective were they? Shinmo happily replied, I took 2 pills. They were very effective. I feel like my foundation has been somewhat repaired. If I work hard today, I might even reach the minor achievement of the body refinement stage. Lei Xiaojun nodded slightly and opened the bottle. Indeed, there were 3 pills left, indicating 2 had been used. Lei Xiaojun took out another bottle of body refining pills. I keep my word. Here is another bottle of body refining pills as compensation for my cousin's actions. Shinemo said excitedly. Thank you, senior brother Lei. Lei Xiaojun glanced around Shinmo's simple room and noticed the iron sword in the corner. He remarked casually, I remember you used to practice fist and palm techniques. Why are you using a sword now? Shinemo shook his head. You may not know, senior brother Lei, but I also studied sword techniques before. I learned the yellow rank mid-grade instant light sword technique, but I didn't think it suited me, so I rarely showed it in front of others. Lei Xiaojun nodded. Sorry, I'm being overly sensitive. I found sword wounds on my cousin's body during my investigation yesterday, so I'm more sensitive to those who use swords. Shinemo replied. I understand. Lei Xiaojun sighed. Actually, I knew Lei Yong wasn't a good person. I warned him privately many times, even threatened to expel him from the family, but he just wouldn't listen. I want to catch the murderer just to hand them over to the sect for punishment according to the rules. I suspect the killer is someone Lei Yong bullied. According to the sect rules, they won't face severe punishment, probably just expulsion from the sect. Shinemo nodded. I think so too. Lei Xiaojun sighed deeply. All right, junior brother Shin. I won't stay long. I still have to investigate a few more people. Shinemo stood up. Take care, senior brother Lei, and thank you for the body refining pills. Lei Xiaojun nodded and turned to leave. Only then did Shinemo slowly sit down and continue eating the hearty breakfast on the table. His heart was in turmoil. Just now, Lei Xiaojun tested him several times. He even said that the murderer would only be handed over to the sect for punishment, not execution. It was all bait. If it were an ordinary person, they might have revealed everything after a few words. Fortunately, Shinemo had long seen through the true nature of the Lei family and Lei Xiaojun through his life panel. As he was about to get up and pack his things, he noticed Lei Xiaojun still watching him from outside. Shinmo's heart tightened, and he quickly asked, Senior brother Lei, haven't you left yet? Lei Xiaojun waved his hand. No worries, I just felt I owed you too much. I was thinking about whether I should give you some more spirit stones. Hearing this, The outer sect disciples all looked at Shin Mo with envy. Shin Mo gratefully said, "Then I will accept them. To be honest, I really need spirit stones." Lei Xiaojun smiled. "I'll have someone send the spirit stones over later. Junior brother Shin, see you later." After saying that, he finally left. Only then did Shin Mo's heart return to its normal state. What a guy. Pulling a sudden check like that. Luckily, he didn't have a habit of talking to himself, or Lei Xiaojun might have heard something. This person is not simple, too dangerous. I must quickly gain the strength to surpass him, defeat him, and kill him. Shun Mo's determination grew stronger. Just now, Lei Xiaojun had two opportunities on him. Upcoming opportunity 1. While investigating Lei Yong's death, he found a disciple who stammered under questioning. The disciple admitted to selling Qingxian sect information to other forces. Lei Xiaojun reported this to the sect and received 300 low-grade spirit stones and a reward of choosing a martial technique for free. Upcoming opportunity 2. While investigating Lei Yong's death outside, he stumbled upon a Tier 2 demonic beast's nest. The demonic beast returned from hunting, and after a battle, Lei Xiaojun killed the beast and found 3 Tier 2 demonic crystals in the nest. The first opportunity is hard to seize. I can't reveal my identity right now. The second opportunity is suitable for me. 3 Tier 2 demonic crystals are enough for me to cultivate to the minor achievement of the Qi condensation stage. I can go there when the beast leaves its nest to hunt and easily get the 3 demonic crystals. Shin Mo nodded slightly. Chapter 9. In the blink of an eye, a month passed in the outer disciples' courtyard. Inside a nondescript house, Shin Mo exhaled a breath of turbid air and slowly stood up. During this month, Lei Xiaojun hadn't come to test him again, but the murderer had yet to be found. So Lei Xiaojun's investigation continued. After seizing Lei Xiaojun's opportunity and obtaining 3 demon crystals, his cultivation not only reached the small achievement stage of the Qi condensation realm, but he also showed signs of advancing to the great achievement stage of the Qi condensation realm. Therefore, Shin Mo drank all the remaining Earth Mother Spirit liquid. As expected, in one vigorous effort, he directly broke through to the great achievement stage of the Qi condensation realm. Now, he possessed the great achievement stage of the Qi condensation realm and had a powerful trump card in the Thunder Shadow Sword technique. Lei Xiaojun was no longer his match. Today is the day of the outer disciples' assessment. I will challenge Lei Xiaojun in front of everyone and defeat him, thus entering the inner sect. As long as I become an inner disciple, I will be under the protection of the Qingxian sect. No more pretending. I'm revealing my true strength. I am now incredibly formidable. Shin Mo sneered coldly. He pushed open the door and strode out. Sure enough, the outer disciples were all heading in groups of 3 or 5 towards the halfway point of the mountain. The place for the outer disciples' assessment was the martial arts training ground halfway up the mountain. When Shin Mo arrived there, hundreds of outer disciples had already gathered. He saw 2 particularly noticeable people in the crowd. A girl was tightly holding onto a man's arm, leaning on him like a delicate bird. These 2 were none other than Xiao Fan and Lu Fei, obviously. Xiao Fan's red fate attribute, graceful immortal bearing, had worked, and he had successfully won over Lu Fei. There were quite a few outer disciples around Xiao Fan, all congratulating him. Congratulations, Brother Xiao, on becoming an inner disciple. Brother Xiao, don't forget us junior brothers and sisters in the future. Xiao Fan, his face glowing with pride, responded politely, "Rest assured, I, Xiao Fan, have always been someone who repays kindness. Those who have helped me, I will surely repay." Shin Mo listened to a few of their words. It turned out that during this month, Xiao Fan had stopped challenging Lei Xiaojun head-on and instead challenged an inner disciple weaker than Lei Xiaojun, successfully defeating him. That inner disciple was stripped of his inner sect status and fell to the outer sect, while Xiao Fan successfully ascended, becoming an inner disciple. As for Xiao Fan's polite words to those disciples, Shin Mo listened for a bit before sneering. If Xiao Fan were truly someone who repays kindness, he wouldn't have abandoned Shin Mo so readily when Shin Mo lost his cultivation. In the pavilion next to the martial arts training ground, there were 3 inner disciples drinking tea while watching the martial arts platform. One of them was Lei Xiaojun. The other 2, Shinemo knew as well. They were also from prominent families, but not from Qingshan City. They came from Gufeng City, Qingshan City, Gufeng City, Xishan City, and the hundreds of towns and villages. Surrounding these 3 cities were the territory under the control of the Qingshan sect in this region. The Qingshan sect was the absolute overlord. Its word was law. Shinemo glanced at them from a distance and saw Lei Xiaojun's life panel. Name: Lei Xiaojun. Cultivation. Small achievement stage of the Qi condensation realm. Fate attributes: family scion, thunder spirit body, remarkable luck. Destiny. Ultimately stops at the peak of the foundation establishment realm. Serves as an outer sect elder of the Qingshan sect. 19 years later, attempts to forcibly break through to the core formation realm, suffers severe injuries, and dies a few days later from vomiting blood. Recent opportunity. Challenged by Shinemo, defeated, Dantian crippled, inner sect status stripped, demoted to outer sect disciple. Shinemo sneered inwardly after plundering Lei Xiaojun's opportunities several times. His life's destiny had undergone a significant change. Originally, he could have become a core formation cultivator, but now he was stuck in the foundation establishment realm, unable to progress further in his lifetime. Seeing the recent opportunity, Shinemo felt even more pleased. The panel displayed events that were about to happen clearly. His own strength was now sufficient to crush Lei Xiaojun. Shinemo glanced briefly before shifting his gaze to the martial arts platform at the center of the training ground. There, a dark-faced deacon was responsible for recording. Behind him was a power testing pillar. The power testing pillar was 3 meters high, completely transparent. It was hollow inside, with a pool of silver liquid at the bottom. This liquid was very peculiar, usually lying still, but once it was struck by external force, it would expand. Therefore, many sects used it as a power testing pillar to measure strength. As long as a punch could make the silver liquid rise above 1 foot, it meant surpassing the small achievement stage of the body refinement realm, which was considered qualified. If it couldn't exceed 1 foot, then sorry, you'd better pack up and leave. One at a time, Li Si. The deacon shouted. A disciple jumped onto the martial arts platform and punched the power testing pillar. Buzz. The silver liquid reached 2 feet. The deacon nodded. 2 feet and 1 inch. Next, Zhang San. With a punch, the silver liquid barely reached 9 inches. The disciple named Zhang San's face turned pale. The deacon waved his hand. 9 inches? You're disqualified. Pack up your things. Next. The assessment proceeded swiftly. In the blink of an eye, over 100 disciples had been tested. Next, Shinemo. The deacon called out loudly. Hearing this name, many outer disciples below the stage recalled the former number 1 of the outer sect. They began to whisper among themselves. Some mocked, some ridiculed, some showed a bit of pity, while most just watched with amusement. Ignoring their words and looks, Shinemo strode confidently onto the martial arts platform. Xiao Fan glanced at Shinmo's back, his eyes flashing. Leaning on him, Lu Fei whispered, "Brother Xiao Fan, I remember that person once gave you spirit stones. Why didn't you help him afterward?" Xiao Fan's heart tightened. Lu Fei's sudden question raised his guard. Such behavior was ungrateful and could be seen as heartless, something women despise. He needed Lu Fei to provide cultivation resources, so he couldn't afford to show any sign of poor character. He immediately grasped Lu Fei's hand, indulging her. "Feier, you only know part of the story. That person did give me spirit stones, but he only did so because he saw my potential and wanted to befriend me. I've never liked such opportunistic people, so I ignored him." Lu Fei nodded. As expected of Brother Xiao Fan, your insight is sharp, seeing through him immediately. Xiao Fan suddenly asked, "Feier, did you approach me because you saw my potential and wanted to bet on it? If that's the case, I'd be heartbroken," he said, deliberately loosening his grip on her arm. Lu Fei was stunned and quickly waved her hands. "Brother Xiao Fan, how could you say that? I genuinely like you and wanted to get close to you. From the moment you entered the sect, I liked you at first sight, however. My father wanted to wait and see your aptitude before letting me contact you. Xiao Fan immediately hugged Lu Fei tighter. I understand. I know, Feier is the best to me. Lu Fei blushed, pressing closely against his chest. Xiao Fan inwardly sneered. Women in love are so easy to deceive, of course. He was lying. When Shun Mo's foundation was destroyed and his cultivation plummeted, Xiao Fan decisively abandoned him for a simple reason. If Shin Mo was still the #1 outer disciple, Xiao Fan would maintain a good relationship with him. Shin Mo could protect him and even give him spirit stones. But when Shin Mo fell to the entry level of the body refinement realm, he lost all value, making any further relationship meaningless. The only thing Xiao Fan hadn't expected was that Shin Mo still hadn't left the sect. If he were in Shun Mo's position, he would have long thought of leaving the sect and returning home to become a blacksmith with his foundation destroyed and no hope for immortality. Staying in Qingxian's sect would be pointless. In the pavilion, sitting opposite Lei Xiaojun, the tall inner disciple Lu Yefeng glanced at Shin Mo from afar. He said indifferently, "That person is Shin Mo, the former #1 of the outer sect? Such a waste of resources for a crippled person to stay in the sect." He shook his head repeatedly after speaking. Lei Xiaojun sneered. "I think so too. If I were him, I'd have left long ago." His tone was harsh, starkly different from the gentlemanly image he usually portrayed. "But I always felt something was off about him, though I couldn't find any evidence," Lei Xiaojun continued solemnly. The gaunt inner disciple Gao Peng asked casually, "Do you suspect he killed your cousin?" Lei Xiaojun nodded. "He has the strongest motive to kill Lei Yong, but I've tested him several times and found him to be merely at the entry level of the body refinement realm." Lu Yefeng laughed heartily. "I think you're overthinking it. With his foundation destroyed, he can't possibly cultivate, unless he obtains a high-grade elixir to restore his foundation. But that would be at least a high-grade mystic elixir." Gao Peng added, "Indeed, with his abilities, he wouldn't be able to obtain a high-grade mystic elixir, let alone a single body refining pill." Lu Yefeng chuckled. "But who knows? Maybe he stumbled upon such an elixir by sheer luck?" Lei Xiaojun laughed out loud. "Luck is an elusive thing, but it's clear that Shin Mo is not someone blessed with great fortune. Shin Mo is about to test his strength. We'll see his level soon enough," Gao Peng said with a smile. The three of them focused their attention on the martial arts platform. Chapter 10. At this moment, Shin Mo had already stepped up to the power testing pillar. He took half a step forward with his left leg and slowly gathered strength in his right arm. His body was taut like a drawn bow. In the next instant, a tremendous force converged into his right fist. He struck out with a punch. Bang! The silver liquid shot up to a height of 1 foot and 3 inches. The deacon's mouth dropped open in shock. 1 foot. 1 foot and 3 inches. This must be the strength of a qi condensation realm. His gaze towards Shin Mo changed dramatically. His foundation was destroyed, yet he had cultivated back to the qi condensation realm. The low murmurs of mockery and ridicule from the crowd below abruptly ceased. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't fathom how Shin Mo, previously only at the entry level of the body-tempering realm with a ruined foundation, had suddenly reached the qi condensation realm. Xiao Fan's intrigued expression froze suddenly. Lei Xiaojun, Lu Yefeng, and Gao Peng, who had been relaxed and at ease, also had their expressions change abruptly. Shin Mo turned around to face the crowd. "I, Shin Mo, have regained my place as the top of the outer sect today. Does anyone object?" The entire venue fell silent, eyes lowered. No one dared to meet his gaze. Xiao Fan, who had previously been ungrateful and felt guilty, lowered his head when Shin Mo glanced at him. Only Shin Mo stood proudly. Suddenly, Lei Xiaojun shouted, "Junior brother Shun, wasn't your foundation destroyed? How can you cultivate again?" His voice echoed across the martial arts field, piquing everyone's curiosity. Indeed, someone with a destroyed foundation being able to cultivate to the qi condensation realm again was too strange. Shin Emo smiled slightly. I was lucky and found a marrow cleansing pill, which restored my foundation. Thank you for your concern, Senior Brother Lei. As soon as he said this, the crowd below erupted in astonishment. No way? He found a marrow cleansing pill? What luck! A marrow cleansing pill is a top-tier profound grade pill. My god, when will I ever have such luck? Shin Emo is so lucky. If only I could have a bit of that luck. Suddenly, Lei Xiaojun smiled broadly. Junior Brother Shin, you seem to have never displayed the strength of the qi condensation realm during this period. Why did you deliberately hide it? Shin Emo returned his smile. Naturally, I was worried about someone harming me. Their gazes met in the air. It was as if two forces clashed in the sky, sparks flying. Some shrewd disciples quickly noticed the undercurrent between the two. Gao Pang, beside Lei Xiaojun, whispered, "This man is likely connected to your cousin's death." Lu Yefeng also said in a low voice, "We should act tonight, lure him out of the sect and kill him." Lei Xiaojun sneered, "No, you're all underestimating this person, and so did I. If he dares to show his strength now, it means he's already prepared. If I'm not mistaken, his next step is to challenge me." On the martial arts platform, Shin Emo turned to the deacon beside him. "Senior Brother Deacon, can I challenge an inner sect disciple now?" The deacon was stunned for a moment, then hurriedly replied, "Of course you can. The top 3 of the outer sect can challenge an inner sect disciple at any time. If you win, you can take their place." After speaking, the deacon froze, a terrifying thought rising in his mind. "Junior Brother Shin, you're not thinking of challenging Lei?" he said in shock. Lei Xiaojun was at the minor achievement level of the qi condensation realm. Generally, when outer sect disciples challenge inner sect disciples, they challenge those at the entry level of the qi condensation realm. That way, their chances of winning are much higher. No one was foolish enough to challenge an inner sect disciple at the minor achievement realm of the qi condensation realm. That wasn't a challenge, it was a beating. Shin Emo pointed at Lei Xiaojun in the pavilion, still wearing that smiling expression. "Senior Brother Lei, would you accept my challenge?" The voice wasn't loud, but as soon as he finished speaking, the whole venue was shocked. He just reached the qi condensation realm and dares to challenge Lei Xiaojun? My heavens, Shin Emo is too bold. Yeah, even Xiao Fan failed when he challenged Lei Xiaojun. Xiao Fan is a genius, and if he lost, Shin Emo, who can't compare to Xiao Fan, definitely isn't a match for Lei Xiaojun. The disciples were buzzing with discussion, all staring at Shin Emo with bewildered expressions. Is this guy, Shin Emo, out of his mind? Out of all the people to challenge, why choose Lei Xiaojun? Everyone turned their attention to Lei Xiaojun, curious to see his reaction. Lei Xiaojun smiled. "I always enjoy a good sparring match. Since Junior Brother Shin is so interested, I naturally can't refuse. However, I am a bit stronger. If Junior Brother Shin gets hurt, you can't blame me." He leaped forward gracefully like a falling leaf, landing lightly. Then he quickly walked towards the martial arts platform. The disciples hurriedly made way for him. Lei Xiaojun stepped onto the platform facing Shin Emo. The deacon quickly retreated. When two qi condensation realm cultivators fought, being too close could result in injury. The two came to a distance. Lei Xiaojun still wore a smile and spoke in a voice only they could hear. "I never expected this. I tested you so many times. And you managed to evade each one. You're revealing your strength today, so you must think you've surpassed me? Young man, you're still too young and impatient." Shin Emo smiled back. "You're acting all high and mighty, but you're only 3 years older than me." Lei Xiaojun's face stiffened, then he sneered, "All you have now is a sharp tongue." In the next moment, he pounced like a fierce tiger descending a mountain. The muscles on his arm bulged. A strong wind rushed at Shin Emo. A huge fist aimed straight for Shin Mo's face. Shin Emo responded with a punch. Bang. Their fists collided. Both of them stepped back simultaneously. Shin Emo took 5 steps back, while Lei Xiaojun took 3 steps. The outer sect disciples watching were wide-eyed. What the heck? Only a difference of 3 and 5 steps? Doesn't that mean Shin Mo's strength is comparable to Lei Xiaojun's? The outer sect disciples were in disarray. It was hard to accept this fact in such a short time. Lei Xiaojun's face also darkened. He didn't expect Shin Emo to hide his strength so deeply. In that punch exchange, he clearly felt the other's strength. Only slightly weaker than his own. If he didn't use martial skills, even if he won, it would look bad. He had to use martial skills to defeat him decisively and cleanly. Shin Mo's expression remained unchanged. He had deliberately held back slightly. It was all part of his plan to act for everyone. Only this way could he justify going all out to defeat Lei Xiaojun later. Lei Xiaojun suddenly laughed heartily. Junior brother Shin is indeed powerful after years of hidden cultivation. Very well, I will use my thunderclap fist, watch closely. Xiao Fan's eyes flashed. Lei Xiaojun is going to use his strongest card, the thunderclap fist. I heard he has cultivated this fist technique to the 4th level, significantly enhancing its power. Lu Fei nodded. Yes, cultivating thunderclap fist to the 4th level is a qualitative change, increasing its power by at least 30. Lei Xiaojun relies on this technique to suppress many inner sect disciples. Facing the incoming thunderclap fist, Shenmo's eyes remained indifferent. Thunderclap fist, a top-tier yellow-grade martial skill, was nothing. He didn't even need to use his trump card, the Thunder Shadow Sword technique. He could easily handle it with the Tiger Roar fist. After all, he was at the great achievement realm of Qi condensation, while Lei Xiaojun was only at the minor achievement realm. The gap between them wasn't something a thunderclap fist could bridge. Shenmo also shouted loudly, "Senior brother Lei is indeed powerful, I must go all out. My trump card is the Tiger Roar fist. However, the power of my Tiger Roar fist is immense. Once I use it fully, even I'm afraid, if senior brother Lei gets injured, don't blame me."